you know.
We're on.
All right, we're going to call to order the P&Z meeting for May 20th, 2025, and it's approximately 7:01 p.m. On May 20th. Okay, so we're going to take the roll. Leah?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Gary? And Gary. Here. Tammy? Okay, we do have a quorum. So we'll go to number 2, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we'll go to number 3, public comments for non-public hearing items. At this time, any individual, they're invited to address the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding any item on the meeting agenda or on matters not listed in the agenda. So since there's only one person.
Yeah, why don't we, Mr. Logan, correct?
Yes.
Why don't we wait until agenda item 4.3 and
Right.
we can open discussions with Mr. Logan?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, we will move into the regular agenda. And the first item in number 4, 4.1, is the approval of last on our April 15th meeting. So if you take a look at those.
Scott, I was just gonna make a note on the one, it says the poll ordinance. We just talked about moving, I guess making some revisions and then bringing it back for this meeting.
Yeah,
Which we got busy for this one, so it's
yes.
fine, just to remind us for the next one, just.
Well, yeah, and Gary and I talked about that a little bit ago. We were going to do it towards the end of the meeting. So at the last meeting, P&Z made a motion to bring back a revised amendments to the poll ordinance for this particular meeting. Unfortunately, when I prepared the agenda Friday, I hadn't looked at the last packet.
Totally fine.
And
I just wanted a reminder.
I posted the meeting, and then when I start working on your packets this weekend, I'm going to do the packet and go,
There it is.
there it is. But I would have had, we would have had to put it on the agenda and postpone it until the next meeting in June anyways. I just haven't had time to go back, but I assure you the next few weeks, it will be at the top of the list along with the fence ordinance.
Sure. That'd be good.
So it'll be covered in the June 17th meeting, right?
June 17th,
Right.
correct.
And I move to approve the minutes of April 15th, 2025, regular Planning and Zoning Commission meeting as presented.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move to 4.2, the resignation of Bob London, and thank you for letting us know.
Yep. Commission, I put this in your packet. Obviously, it's a formality. When a member from a particular board or commission resigns, you have to present that resignation to the board. You don't need to accept it, obviously. But it's informing you that there's a vacant seat on your commission, and you know, you're more than welcome to make a recommendation to the mayor or the council members of how you'd like to see that seat filled if you'd like as well. So that's just putting you on notice that you have a vacant seat that's open to be filled.
So if we have a suggestion, just we send something to the mayor?
I would send it to the mayor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, we will move on to 4.3. Discussion of the 14.5 acre residential development. Discussion of a proposed residential development on approximately 14.5 acres, which includes 10 residential lots. And,
Oh yeah, I'll start off. So Mr. Logan is here this evening. Mr. Logan is proposing to develop the 14.5 acres with 10 residential lots. We've exchanged emails back and forth because if you look at his proposed plan now, currently there's only one lot that meets our zoning regulations. I think it's a little bit over 1.5. And then the other lots average somewhere around 1.2, I believe. Mr. Logan asked if he could approach the Planning and Zoning Commission and Town Council to speak about the possibility of, moving forward with his plat, and if we would possibly consider different zoning. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Logan and let him.
Thank you, Scott.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just, it's basically, we friends of people, we just bought the lot, and it's 10 of us. We didn't know about when we bought the property. We had a plan of getting an acreage lot of 10 lots, 10 or 11 lots building together. It's like, the friends, we bought it together, and we want to put like really with amenities and things like that, and want to just get it out there to more of like a retirement home. So that was the plan. That's with the plan we got it, and so at least we need minimum 10 homes to put in. So when I think we approached last time. I had one of the guy, like one engineer company, and there was one guy. His name was Chuck Branch. So he approached. We used him as the engineering company worked with directly with the city, and they said hey, we can only do 1.5 acre lot. And if you do 1.5 acre lot, we are getting 8 lots. So at least we needed 10 lots, and again we were going into the development cost of putting a concrete road, pulling the waters and all those stuffs, and then we just decided at least we need those 10 homes to just get those development and then start the building immediately.
What's the cost per lot if you have 10? Infrastructure costs?
Construction cost is coming like roughly close to 150 to 200K per acre, so we are looking at
Just for infrastructure?
Yeah, just
and the cost of the property?
Just the road.
Just the road?
Yeah, but we got the property earlier. We bought it for they asked 1.2. I think we got it for 1.1, if I'm not wrong. But we even thought of buying that one. There's another 20-acre piece for sale. I think if you're not there, there's a one with the home with that other remaining 20-acre.
Right.
And they were asking around 2 million something. So we asked, we negotiated, we asked at least 1.5 or something. They were not willing to do it. So that we can buy it together and we can put, we want, if we get 11, we are good. So then we can get like all like a 20, that 15 or this close to 30 per acre. So we can put a lot more single family homes. But then maybe we are also trying to do some amenities. Maybe the one we have 1.5 acre, a little bit extra, maybe close to 1 acre. Or like we might put some pickleball court and swimming pool, or like maybe swimming pool can be done maybe in each home, but there's like pickleball or like some kind of volleyball or some small amenities. So it's all going to be friends and family. We're planning to buy and we want to build ourselves. So that's kind of.
So the concrete road was 150 to 200,000
per acre, because the development cost, because you need the land leveling
per
and everything,
acre.
right? So you are looking at roughly, I would say easily 2 million range for the development cost. 2 million to get the road and water and get the lot, because the lot need to be graded basically, because the water has to go all the way and the water flow and everything need to be done. The pad has to be raised up and all those things. Currently I live in Fairview, so it was 11 people bought it, so I'm not coming in.
Right.
So all my remaining 10 friends are coming in, so I'm staying in Fairview as of now.
Right.
So I'm just got built my home there, so I'll be staying there. The remaining 10 people will be moving here. But I have a good experience because I've got a 10-acre land there and I got 6 homes developed. I'm just building one for myself and remaining 5 I'm just selling out to the builders and they're building it.
So if you were to look at an asphalt road, what was the cost of an asphalt road?
Asphalt road we might be able to cut down like at least 50,000 per acre cost.
Per
so
acre.
You might spend 1.4 still.
So you would drop down to 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4 is going to be, again, at least we might drop off $1 million. But again, if you are, anyways, we go to build our residential community, concrete road would have been easy for maintenance down the line.
Right.
And the
That's true.
curb uphill and everything. And we were trying to build at least like, 4,000 plus square foot home, at least like some kind of this is like very home.
Right.
So 4,000 to 5,000 square foot home is what we want to build. So really you need a nice curb appeal and build them nice so that you have the value.
How big did you say?
4,000 to 5,000 square feet each one of them.
So you said there's 10 lots, and you said they're being sold to friends and family, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's all friends and family. We already, everybody is there in the company. If you just, it's I think the name is Wiley, some name, Holding LLC. So I run personally, I run a company called Think Big Investment. So I do have almost like, see basically what I do is, it's a syndicate of people. I have almost like 250 investors who invest on my project. So I buy bigger commercial land, like 100, 200 acre, 300 acre, like that in the highway and things like that. And I get the complete zoning and title and sell it to recently I've sold one 40 acre to one hospital guy in Melissa. So we got 140 acre, 40 acres sold to the hospital, and we got some apartment approved and retail and commercial and everything, and I'll be selling it. I work closely with a lot of builders and developers. So that's what I do personally on my, that's my business. But this is more of, it's just two-member company. It's me and my partner. He lives in Murphy. So they are all school friends and college friends. They all want to do something. So I said, okay, I'll also come in because it's my, basically my partner's school and college friends along with it. You know, I'm the partner with those guys. So I thought, okay, let all we build 11 homes like that. We got it. So I thought, okay, I don't know whether I'm going to build or not because I just recently did everything on the Fairview. But they all want to build together. If they get 10, they might stay together and build and stay. If 1.5 acre, if you're going in that direction, maybe I might develop and sell it to builders. Or we didn't even think about that model because this mostly because the lake was there. It is a really nice location.
Right.
We thought it would be nice to get it, and it's quite neighborhood. And we can, I think the area, if you want to drive out, park all the way, we might get into all the stuff what we need. So that was the plan when we bought it, and it's been 2 years we hold it. So now we thought at least we have to make a direction. Either are we going with 1.5, are we going with 1? If 1.5, maybe then I need to see the development option, or I just maybe chip and seal or whatever, which best I can do it. And I might need to give it to some builders to sell, sell the lot or make a loan. I didn't make any plan if that's the case. So before making that decision, I thought, okay, let's find it, or there is a potential opportunity.
Okay.
So if you had to, or if you met the ordinance for the town, which is 1.5 acres, you said how many lots?
8 lots.
Would be 8 lots then?
8 lots. Because we have that road and the common areas.
When you say common areas, what do you mean? I know the road.
Basically
And the cul-de-sacs.
the road takes pretty much,
That's your
we have a
common
road, and also we put 1 acre amenity, like little bit less than 1 acre we put an amenity. So even this one also has we can put an amenity at this one. We can cut down the 1.5 acre lot where we have the half acre or the another 0.1 or something. If you put 1 acre lot, we might be able to leave around 1 acre amenity. The amenity can be like a pickleball or
Where is that on your?
Okay, so I think,
Okay, go ahead.
no, so I'm just trying to clarify. I know where you're going.
Please go, because that's what I was.
So the way you've got it drawn up here, there is no common area. So are you suggesting that these lots get smaller? So
No,
they could-
it will be, because I'm trying to get the 1 acre lot, so the one on the end has the 1.5
1.5,
acre.
which actually meets our.
If you can, somewhere, just the other are 1.2 or 1 point something. If I can leave 1.1 or something, and if I can take like a 1/4 acre or 0.75 acre, and then there I can put the amenities.
Okay, so what you're planning on doing is taking the 1.5 and cutting it down and then.
Maybe 1.1 or something, kind of a thing.
I'm sorry. I didn't
Nope,
mean to interrupt.
that answered exactly what I.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's what I thought he was doing. I wasn't
Or
sure.
if you don't want amenity, then I just need to leave it like as is. But preferably amenity would have been good.
And you said there's another 20 acres that's for sale, but that was way too expensive?
Yeah.
Somewhere attached to this
The
thing?
front.
The front of it.
Oh,
You
the
have the
front.
map here.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
that was like it comes along with the home.
okay, so the front the one closest to St. Paul Road?
Yes.
Okay, that's the 20 acres, okay.
Roughly, I'm not sure exact 20 acre, but it's somewhere like that.
I'm just looking at the drawing that was provided.
Mr. Logan, on your concept plan, you show spaces that seem to be smaller lots. Are those the common areas you're referring to? at the front and the entry?
That maybe just to have that, some garden, space, just like, monument signs and community sign, and to have like, some kind of flowers and things like that.
Are you planning to have like a screening wall around it, or? Because I noticed there's like an easement running along the edge as well also.
At the back?
No, right here.
Yes.
So are you planning something back behind the lots, or?
No, we're not planning anything,
Okay.
just leave it, because I think there is a water easement and things like that might,
Okay.
future, the road developments and all, would have been better to leave some additional space.
Will the road be private?
No, it's going to be public.
Okay.
If you want to, we can even cater, but we're not thinking of putting cater.
And you are in the town, right? This is in the town of St. Paul, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, do you mind coming up here and kind of showing where you were talking about? Because I can't see what you showed him, and these guys probably want to see it too. So here, is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, this whole,
This is the 20 acres?
this one, yeah, the whole thing, yeah, this comes whole thing all the way here.
Okay, so that's the 20 acres.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure, maybe
It looks like this is the drawing that we saw, right? So this is where you're putting the houses?
yes, correct, but this whole piece, you see here, it comes, the road comes here and it goes here,
Uh-huh.
so it comes here all the way to here. That was the land available.
Okay, so this is available, but you don't own this, right?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
You just own this piece?
Yes.
This part.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
And again, you might know this all is our USA crop, I think it's all
Army
belongs to
Corps.
the Army Corps.
Right. And so you were thinking about cutting this lot, the 1.5 down?
Basically, you can just cut it down here a little bit, like, just, this is like, you can see everyone is 1.17, 1.17, 1 point,
Right,
a little bit, if I at least like, 1.05 or something like that, and cut it down, or maybe, somewhere here we can put our amenities.
okay. Okay. And then there has to be a way to get to it, right?
Yes, yes, we can put a tuck-in parking here, and then, but anyway, it's all only the neighbors there. Right?
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I just was curious as to what. Okay. All right, because it looked like there were these little lake lines. Are there actually houses there? or-
No, this is all like, I think they have a separate track or something, that's why it shows it. They've just got it as a different track.
Hmm.
And this is, I think this corner they have a house, but this road comes and it goes to this way.
Right.
And there you have a lot of, maybe some smaller homes and all those stuff you have over there.
Okay.
Not part of inspiration at all, right?
Not the inspiration, yeah, this is, yeah, no, we are not part of inspiration. Inspiration, I think, look like they are on mud dist. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, okay.
And we really want to build but it's more of think about our personal home, and it's going to be a really nice community, and we'll try to do as best as possible, and with a nice curb appeal and nice look, and it's going to be easily, because all of them are I would say our IT professional people who they are like right now they're in 50s, so
Not those guys.
so but it's going to be all like it's more of our friends and families.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm joking, by the way.
no problem, that's fine. I don't know.
No.
I have a question for the P&Z real quick. Would you be opposed to the road being private? Having a gate?
What difference does it make for us?
It becomes the responsibility of the property owners rather than the town.
Oh, that sounds probably like a good decision,
If you want, we
if you
can.
had to.
So in that case, then, if it was private, if this community was private, are you saying that it could be plotted as one and then
They
split?
wouldn't be able to plat it as one, no, because they have separate lots. They have multiple separate lots that are going to be selling, so it'd have to be subdivided.
So the road would just mean that the town would,
We wouldn't be responsible
for maintenance.
maintaining it.
Okay.
I would assume they would form some HOA to maintain some of these common areas, though.
Yeah, there will be a HOA
Right,
to
and
maintain
then
the
there would
common
be
area.
some language in the HOA document regarding maintenance of the property.
So, but again, there's going to be a lot of property tax coming to the city, because you might know very well the Collin County, you're going to have like at least each home is like $1 million tax.
Yeah.
So it's 10 homes, so there'll be like a 200 or like whatever, that comes to the county, and city has some part. And yeah, the road is again, we're going to do a concrete road, proper concrete road. Usually concrete road doesn't need maintenance for at least like,
Right.
need 30, 40 years. And it's only used by the 10 homes, so the usage will not be too much. So I don't see there's no need for it, but again, if you want, like, we have to maintain it, we can write it out that HOA to maintain also, we are fine with it. We don't have a problem on that one.
Maybe done some preliminary studies on the drainage of the
Yes.
property?
Yes.
Any need for retention or detention? Or?
No, but because the back is all Army Corps, correct, and it's slope over there. So that's where we are doing, when we do a lot, each lot individually, we do a grading, and each one of them will have like a small kind of, each lot in the middle there will be a small canal, like kind of a water flow path. It all goes around and it goes to that Army Corps area.
Yeah. Have you talked to the Corps yet about your project, your proposed project?
I don't think we need to get anything.
They're going to want to be involved. They're going to want to at least be aware of it. So depending upon how the discussions progress with planning and zoning and council, eventually, if you start to pick up momentum,
Mhm.
you're going to have to schedule a meeting with the lake manager
Okay,
and make them aware of the project.
sure.
All right. Any other questions for us, or anything else?
I'm good, I don't have anything.
Okay. Any questions from you guys? Eric?
No.
Yeah.
This is just a discussion, right? We're just kind of dipping our toes in the water about.
We're not approving anything?
No, there's no action, but I think Mr. Logan would like to at least to hear from the commissioners who are here this evening, whether you would support, a different type of zoning. I've told him more than likely that will not happen,
Yeah.
but he wanted the opportunity to at least hear from you as well also.
As far as the zoning, as far as the 1.5, ultimately the council will have to make that decision, the variance committee will have to make that decision. We can't really change that. It's not in our purview. So, but as far as these size lots, would they be acceptable?
I think it's tricky. I think there is a big difference between 1.5 and 1.1, 1.2. There is a huge difference.
It's like 20% or something.
Yeah, and you have to consider, these are big homes, which is great, but you have big homes on a smaller lot, septic, you run out of space really quick, and things can get sticky.
So this would be septic?
Yeah, it's correct.
Okay.
There is no sewer there, correct?
Yeah.
Right, no.
They only have water there, yeah.
Unless you're putting it in.
Was that?
Unless you're going to put it
No.
in.
Yeah, it sounds nice, and the town could sure use the extra revenue from the taxes you were mentioning. I find it a big challenge to try and get that approved through the town council instead. But, if it was ETJ or, outside the city limits.
The
Be a
ETJ,
different
I think,
story.
county even give like, some counties give half-acre lots. So we can do something different, but I think, most of the places it's 1.5 acre.
I think you could consider if you can, I think these are, again, these are big differences from our standard of 1.5 minimum to a 1.2. If you wanted to have a better shot, probably I would say if you could make it where you try to even them out a little bit more, you probably wouldn't get your community center, like your pickleball or pool or whatever you want, and if you could make these closer to like 1.4 or as close as you can get to that 1.5, I know it drops you down to 8 lots, but that would guarantee that you would get your 8 lots with 8 homes.
So 8 lots, we were able to get like 1.5 with 8 lots and even close to 1 acre amenity.
I think it was more of a septic requirement to have the 1.5 versus an actual house requirement, wasn't it? I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's definitely regarding all that. And we have, I'm not saying there's not non-conforming lots here, because there are, but I've heard of some that have actually not done well because they've had to make all these adjustments because of septic and placement in these smaller lots.
Yeah, there's a certain distance for septic,
Mhm.
whether you put it in the front or the backyard, and you can't obviously cross your property line, even though they're your friends.
Yeah, no, 1 acre, I think,
Yeah.
1 acre.
Yeah, I have an acre and a half, and I have an average house, probably about half the size of these. And with that, plus my septic and my teeny tiny backyard that I created, you ran out of room quick. Like, you're already in the very back. It doesn't take much, and that's why we're real particular, I think.
Well, and also for the septic, you're gonna have to get county involved. Like, mine's septic too, but I put a pool in the back, so they moved a couple of the sprinkler heads in the front yard.
Yeah.
But there's, there's distance requirements that you gotta.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all gotta be licensed and stuff like that, so.
Very good for leach field.
So, I don't know if there's any wiggle room on your end. I know you got 10 friends, so.
No, we were 11, so it's
Oh, you got 11
basically,
friends, so
it's just we the one who pulled out.
Oh, okay.
So it just like, as I said, it's just a 2-member company. We started 6 years back,
Right.
and somehow we grown. It got like really good development, and we have, I own like almost like, through my company I own like close to 2,000 plus acres in DFW, and Austin I have almost 500 acres. And we're doing good. It's just 2 people, me and my partner even Murphy. So he has his whole set of college friends and school friends. They have 10, they all want to come together. I said, okay, I can stay away because I'm not part of your gang. It's a business partner, you are friends.
You just come in and beat them in pickleball, right?
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing because if I'm not too far here. I live in Fairview, I think it's 10 minutes or 10-12 minutes.
Right.
So I can come all the way on Country Club and make it here. When the road get better, that's what they're doing now, especially that Blue Cars and the Country Club is getting really worse in traffic.
So, are you?
No action? Any other questions for the commission?
No, I'm good, I think if your support would be helpful. I will start immediately. If there's no option, then I think I might need to sell it out,
Okay.
and someone might do something
Okay.
different.
Do you still want to speak with council, or?
I can speak to council really if you want.
Okay.
I want to try it out because there's a potential opportunity.
I would suggest you do speak to the council in case they say, yeah, it's okay, we're good with this, and we'll run you through the variance committee. We're not saying that that's not possible. We don't really know which way they would go, but
Okay.
Okay.
we're not saying they will
No problem.
either.
Yeah, I'll wait for your email updates. I don't have any concern now.
But yeah, I would talk to the council.
Sounds good. Thanks for all your
Now,
time. All of you.
Scott, do you need anything from us? I mean,
No.
we're not
You're-
100% against this, don't get that wrong. It's
Right,
just
right.
The size difference.
I think it's been an open conversation, and I think Leah made some, excellent points.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to go back and look at the septic. I'm not certain what those rules has dropped to, at least at the county level. I'm not certain if you had something specific in our rules here in St. Paul where it had to be 1.5. That's probably what led to the 1.5 zoning at one point.
Yeah, I heard it discussed.
Right. So that's more likely how that came about. But I want to say the county's down to 1 acre. So I'm not certain if that applies to rules we have in place. But the bottom line is you have 1.5 residential zoning. And the only way you're going to change that at this point is if you approve a development agreement for the project. So you wouldn't go in for a variance, you'd have to rezone a lot through a plan development ordinance. Which means we'd have to amend our zoning ordinance to allow for PD because we don't have that specific language in the zoning ordinance. And you have to draft a specific zoning.
See, even the one like, the Robert,
Right.
the corner one, what I was talking about, this one for available for sale, couple of them, he already got it as a separate lot. They were just 1 acre pad. And opposite to these homes, like, all of them are like 0.2 or 0.5, that's what they're, I don't see, there's no bigger lots there. And the one what we were, I was talking to buy even that one, like, he has the home is on the 2-acre lot and they have like a couple of 1 acre, 1 acre, 1 acre. That's why you see those lines, they all like 1 acre lots.
Oh, the ones that in the lake, right?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll show you this one. You might get an idea.
So I want these lots right here.
Yeah, these are these 1 acre, 1 acre, 1 acre, like that, they are like 1 acre.
But that doesn't mean they're buildable, because we just did that for across the street, where they bought the lot and it was not buildable. because
They were
it didn't
8
meet-
inches shy.
Well, the
Yeah.
width wasn't there. I think the lot has to be 160 feet wide
Yeah.
by the zoning district, and they were like,
It was,
It was like 8
It was
inches or
like-
something,
Right.
yeah, it wasn't much.
but the point is even if it's broken up in 1 acre lots, it's just, if you bought it to build a house on and it's not the right size,
So then
that's,
how do people on the other side of the St. Paul, they have like, it's only for 1 point, like, only 0.15 acres, they're like a smaller lots. What do? They have sewer or?
no, all of St. Paul is septic, right?
yeah,
All of
yes.
St. Paul is
Yeah.
septic.
Oh, all septic. Okay.
Well, except for, it's brown, right?
So,
Oh, yeah.
see this
Septic,
one
septic.
is,
You're saying inspiration?
Inspiration.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's,
it's ETJ.
yeah, it's its own little.
Yeah, it is, right.
no, all this, like, all these homes on the West Shore Drive, just like cross, so they all are like 0.12 or like, they are like not even quarter acre, they are like 0.12 and 1.5.
Where are these, right across the road?
Yeah, right across, this one, these homes.
And some of those are older,
Oh.
that's for sure.
Then if this road goes and they are all like 0.15, they're not even like quarter acre. They're
That's
like
the old St. Paul?
Yeah, and all this, again, if you go this way, it's not completely like that. So anyway, we didn't know about it. So these were the one I was saying, this 1 acre, 1 acre, and this is 2 acre, and this might be a bigger one. So that like they have like a 4 or 5 track, together is what the Robert is selling now.
Right. I don't have an answer for you.
What was it?
Well, he's saying that.
Well, there's a lot of lots in St. Paul that aren't meeting 1.5. If you go back and you look at the history as far as St. Paul zoning, it's kind of been all over the map. What was initially zoned or brought in, incorporated as a town, you had one zoning district, and it was agriculture, everything was agriculture.
Right.
And then probably about 5 years after that, it switched to one type of residential zone. I can't remember what size. It may have been 1.5 at that time. And a few years after that, it changed where they had a laundry list of different zoning districts. I mean, it was like an urban zoning classification. I mean, everything you think of was in the town zoning document. And it was shortly after that, maybe 2 or 3 years later, obviously the town was trying to find its way forward. They reduced it to where we are today. So 1.5 has at some point been majority residential zoning in the town, but I can't tell you exactly when it was.
Okay.
And when the town was originally incorporated, some of these lots were already here. So, there's not much you can do about that at that point, so. The town was incorporated in 1971, so some of these lots were already existing.
So sorry, we don't have an answer for you.
No problem, I was just bringing
Right.
in this. See what is the best we can do, that's all it is.
Well, I would meet with the council, see what they have to say,
Sounds good.
and, because they can, they're really the decision makers. We can't really approve something less than 1.5.
Sounds good.
We could recommend it, but it might get shut down.
So that would be great.
What
No,
do you
I think,
think?
get me like whatever it comes, I'm fine. So we really want to get it done. If we get approved, we will start the development immediately. If not, then, I don't know whether we want to.
Something you may want to keep in mind that if council does decide to move forward with the size of the lot you have currently, it will require about 2 different actions in order to actually put zoning in place in order for you to move forward. So you're probably looking at 60 to 90 days before that's completed.
Yeah, that's fine.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, sure. As far as also we need to get ready with all the
Yeah.
financial side of getting the loan and all those stuff, development costs and all those things. That will take decent time.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
I'll send you an email when council, I just don't know off the top of my head the next time they're meeting. So,
So we are motivated to move to the city, that's not it. So I'll keep us posted.
all right. All right, thank you, Mr. Lowe.
Thank you all.
All right.
Sounds good,
Thank you.
correct?
Yes.
Thank you, then I'll leave, we'll catch up later. Thanks all for sharing.
Thank you. All right, so I guess we move on to 4.4, this is discussion of residential development at the northeast corner of Pecan and Parker. Pecan and Parker, however you want to say it. Discussion of a proposed residential development on approximately 17 acres of land adjacent to St. Paul Road, which includes plans for 151 housing units. So Scott, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll put this on the agenda, basically just to brief the commission, kind of give you a heads up of what's going to be coming down the road. This particular project is in the town's ETJ, obviously. As Gary mentioned, they're currently proposing 151 like townhomes. They intend to plat the property as one lot because the builder / developer will not only build the property, but they will also manage and maintain it because each one of the townhomes will be leased.
So it's different than like his community, because it's
Exactly.
not being sold
Right.
separately.
We're not being
Okay.
cut out. And so the discussions have been at this point one lot because he's going to continue owning the property, being the developer. And he has multiple projects like this, not only in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I think he may have 6 or 8 projects similar to this project in Lavon, Salina, Grand Prairie, a couple other communities. But he has a total of 30 or 35 throughout the country. He initially offered to annex the project into the town. I brought that proposal before council at the last meeting, and council said no. They felt like the project would change the character of the community. They didn't feel like it would be in the best interest of St. Paul to bring it into the town at that time, or at least at this time. The streets will be private. Everything within in that particular subdivision or development will be private. I'm trying to think what else I can share with you.
They're gonna have
Average
their own
rents
sewer,
for,
right?
huh?
They're going to have their own sewer.
Yes, they'll be tying into the Northeast Special Utility District sewer, water. They will also, the average rent will be somewhere around $2,000 a month. And they'll have an amenity center, a dog park, a leasing office there as well. If the project does move forward, the conversations that we've had with the developer is that he'll have to file a preliminary and final plat. The preliminary plat will come before P&Z for review and approval with some construction plans. The final plat will come before P&Z for review and a recommendation to council. Council will consider approval of the final plat. The preliminary plat, as far as review and approval, is at the commission level. And I would anticipate this could probably be coming before you within the next 2 to 3 months, is what we're looking at.
Okay.
Do they own the property yet?
When I asked a couple of weeks ago, they only had the property. They don't own it, but typically what a developer will do, I'm trying not to get down into the weeds too much here, but a developer on a project like this will go to a landowner, ask them to take it off the market for 6 months. They pay them X number of dollars to take it off the market while they do their due diligence. While they're completing their due diligence, they'll make a risk assessment. Do they want to move forward with the project based upon what they've done, and they'll purchase the land. And I'm pretty certain, I don't know this for a fact, but they're probably wrapping up their due diligence at this point.
Okay. And by due diligence, you kind of mean like stuff like this, where
Right.
letting people know this is their
Right.
plans and things like that? Okay.
Exactly.
But they don't own it yet?
I can't answer that definitely.
Totally fine.
I would say probably not.
Okay. So this is all just still kind of hypothetical?
Yes,
Nothing is
yes,
set in stone yet?
yes.
Okay, and I just want to confirm, it said somewhere, oh, it said in the agenda, like the list, it says it's adjacent to St. Paul Road. It does not go to St. Paul Road, right? Because based on the map.
No, I'm sorry, that was,
It
should be
shouldn't.
14.5.
It's just Parker and Pecan. I know
Right.
it's street, it's right across my street, so
Right.
it should be, okay, I just wanted to make sure that I have the right, I wrote a lot of notes.
That's
So
why.
sorry, guys.
That's why I got them mixed up when I talked to you earlier, Scott.
Did I have that on this?
Yeah, you
It's
did.
on the agenda, it says adjacent to
Oh,
St. Paul
okay,
Road.
I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah.
why I thought it was reversed. I thought this guy was 17
No, I'm
acres.
sorry.
Really.
I was definitely.
I'm trying to figure out how the heck are they gonna put 100?
Yeah, we got that.
14.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's what happened when you're in a hurry. Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions,
Mhm.
because I know it's the ETJ, and I've still, that still really boggles my mind on understanding what that means.
Mhm.
So I know it says here that we control the plating regulations, right? That's putting it
Correct.
into one plat.
Or subdivided.
However we want to do it, or they ask for
Right,
whatever.
right.
What oversight do we have with that? Because I know that they're not in our town, so we can't say, like, you can't do this, you can't do this, because they're not in our town, they're in the
Right.
ETJ. So what can we do? What do we have?
We're going to be, after our virtual meeting last week with the town engineer, myself, and the developer, we're going to be preparing a memorandum of understanding of what that will all entail. We emphasized heavily that the town's going to be keeping a laser focus on the drainage. So we're going to be looking at that very closely. I had mentioned the possibility of a traffic impact analysis. I'm not certain how hard we can push that, because none of the roads are really ours, and they're not coming out on the TxDOT. They don't have an interest coming out of Parker. But it was a conversation that we did hold, that we'd like to see a traffic impact analysis as far as what type of improvements may be required for Pecan or Pecan Road. But again, that's a county road. It's not a county requirement. So we're going to ask for a lot of different construction documents that we hope we have the opportunity to review, but necessarily do we have a right to review them based upon subdivision regulations. That's what we're going to have to outline in our memo to them as well.
Okay, so y'all are still kind of figuring that out.
Figuring that all out. Drainage was definitely the focus.
When I went back and I looked at I watched the council meeting on this topic, and that was the worry. I think this piece is 17 and a half acres with 151 properties, whereas the one that's the Elevon and Levon is 34 acres roughly with 181. So this is almost the same amount of housing in a
In a
way
smaller
smaller space. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of concrete, not a lot of,
Yeah, so are you saying that they're not gonna come out on Parker through Pecan?
Well, through Pecan they will, but their entrance is probably obviously going to be off Pecan, because if
Right.
they were going in off of Parker, I mean, it's obviously going to trigger a TxDOT involvement,
Yeah.
which would require TIA,
Would be-
and any developer's probably going to avoid that at all costs. So
Would be-
Pecan makes sense.
There's still being a lot more traffic getting on Parker.
Exactly.
who's responsible for Pecan Street? Is that
County.
county? Okay.
And those are conversations that will probably email exchange with the county as things start to progress. Obviously that will be made aware of this project. Probably recommend a TIA, because it is a significant amount of volume, traffic volume that's going to come through there. And what are the county regulations? Are they going to require anything? So there's going to be two-way communication between us.
Well, it won't really expand Pecan either, right? So it's still gonna be a 2-lane highway. You got 151 homes, if they have 2 cars per home,
Yeah.
that's 300 cars
Yeah.
each.
Yeah.
So we needed another development.
Yeah, and that's usually what a TIA will trigger. Depending upon the volume of traffic that's going to be generated, it will trigger whether you need to, turn lanes or traffic signals or.
I didn't think of that. They don't even have that, yeah, right there.
Right.
Not yet.
But I'm not even certain what the county regulations are for this type of development and improvements that would be required for the developer to make on Pecan. And that's something we'll have to discuss with the county and see.
Yeah, I guess since drainage is such a big deal here, right, because we've been talking about that for forever, it sounds like, we've got that storage facility that's further west on Parker Road that it's the same thing, it's county. They had drainage studies. I don't think they followed the drainage studies, or they did and it's just not working and it's terrible. My in-laws live behind it, they get flooded. So that would be the worry here. So let's say they get a drainage study, but who's in control of, like who follows up, because it's still not, it's not us, it's still like, does that make sense? Like, we're
Yeah.
getting these studies, we get the traffic impact study, we get this drainage
Yeah.
study, but does it matter?
Right,
Can
right.
they still just do what they want? I don't know.
So, our virtual meeting last week, all the discussions were still very high level, because both myself and the town engineer, we still did not have enough data, such as a drainage study,
Sure.
to give us clarity as far as what we believe should happen. We just have basically what you have.
Right.
And we want to be very careful. At the end of that virtual meeting, I had made the comment because it became clear that they were identifying what was going to be required, but I made it very clear that there's still a lot of information that's going to be required before we identify what we're comfortable with as far as moving forward. So there's a lot of technical information that we don't have still. So to answer your question, when it comes to drainage, there are steps the town could take possibly, and I'm saying this because, again, I don't have all the information, that you could require language on a plat. You could require other legal instruments be filed for maintenance with the county and who holds them accountable. So there are different avenues that we can take that could possibly, and I'm saying possibly right now, give the town a little more leverage and overseeing that. But again, we just don't have enough information.
And that would be before we approve a plat?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do they seem like they're pretty sure they're gonna go forward with it?
You know,
Barring any major blockage by the town, if that's possible?
they really didn't say a lot
Oh,
down the
okay.
virtual.
Were they
The
just-
developers, their engineer, who is the same engineer for DFW Connection Point, spoke the majority of the time. And I think what they're doing at this point is obviously trying to gauge their due diligence. Is it's an investment they want to take. And that's why I wanted to make certain it was clear at the end of that virtual meeting last week that there's still, a significant amount of technical information needed for both the town engineer and myself to look at, to identify what our position is going to be on drainage. Concrete streets, because I threw out during the meeting, I want to be careful with this too, that we were going to have KSA inspect all the infrastructure.
Right.
They spoke up very quickly, and they made the comment, well, this is all private. And I let it reside at that time, and I didn't push it any further. So I had a laundry list of things I was going to, but because I told them we'd have KSA inspect all the infrastructure. They would have to reimburse the town for that cost or make a deposit up front. And they very quickly said this is all going to be private. So again, there's still a lot of discussions that need to take place, and we're going to try and position the town the best we possibly can with the rules and regulations, not only the town has, but the state law will allow us in order to protect the town's interests. I'm pretty certain the drainage, we should be able to have significant oversight, just because of the impact. They told us during the meeting that everything was draining to the north. Well, let's wait and see. But if it's going to the north, is it coming south at any point? So I don't know. There just isn't enough information at this point.
Sure.
So with beyond the preliminary and the initial stuff, after they build it, do they have to follow any of our rules as far as maintenance and upkeep and look of the property? Like, can they grow weeds or grass 6 foot tall or not? Maybe that's a little bit excessive.
Let me first tell you that they are going to have a screening wall, because we talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
I had mentioned during the meeting that we would prefer a masonry wall. I really didn't get any feedback off of that from the developers. They stayed pretty quiet. Anything that's considered a nuisance in the UTJ, you will have a right to enforce. So let's say you have high grass and weed, let's say you will have that ability to enforce it if it becomes an issue. So in the ETJ, you can obviously enforce your plating requirements, sign controls, and nuisances.
Okay. All right.
How about building material? These drawings, I think our building codes, we have to use brick. Now these drawings aren't brick. Pictures.
Yeah. You can't do that anymore.
I thought they did.
There used to be where you could do it.
Oh, is that right?
But you can't. It's been like that for years now. So,
So if drainage, not to keep coming back to drainage,
Right.
but if drainage becomes a nuisance, or can become a nuisance after it's been built, they got a problem over there where they're draining in somebody else's property?
well, if it's impacting the town of St. Paul, you have all the right to take whatever action
If it
you
goes
have
north,
to.
we don't care.
Well, I mean,
No, I,
That was just funny, sorry.
it's not your
That's
town,
funny.
so it's gonna be an uphill battle.
no, I get it, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Without,
Yeah.
And it's just hard to understand exactly what we could enforce, but I guess, I get it.
Can I ask another question about the wall, the masonry wall?
Mhm.
So would it have to be around the entire community, or is it just what butts up to a St. Paul resident? Because I know commercial, like for here in the town, right, it has to have it if it butts up against like a property owner, a residential property owner, but if it's against another commercial,
they-
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, so,
It's tricky, right?
well, so they had mentioned earlier that they were going to do some sort of screening. And I took this opportunity during the last meeting, said it, we lean more towards masonry wall. Now, what they will ultimately propose, certainly, will they do a masonry wall all the way around? I'm not certain of that either. Technically, we can't require.
We can't.
you don't have to have a wall at all.
Right. But it doesn't hurt to ask. And again, those are things that you're negotiating.
That's fair.
Okay. Are we
That's all
done?
I-
Are we done talking about the 17 acres?
Yes.
There's really nothing else to talk about, right, because we don't know enough anymore.
It was, again, both these projects were just to give you preliminary what's in the pipeline. And like I said earlier, Mr. Logan just wanted to get a feel from you if you consider anything less than 1.5.
The real problem is I don't know that it's up to us, right, to change that. That's why he needs to go talk to the council.
Yeah.
I mean, we could recommend it, but I don't know. And when we adjourn, I got something to add to that, but.
Okay. All right. Is that a motion to adjourn?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn. Since we're done. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I assume.